Welcome to the Fire Circle, interviews with the modern granny woman in your life. My name is Ellis Elliott, and I write a series of cozy mysteries based on a lineage of Appalachian granny women, or witches, as they were sometimes called. So, what is a granny woman? Well, let me tell you, back in the pre-Civil War days in the isolated community mountains of East Tennessee, there were certain women that took on the combined role of healer, midwife, and preparing the dead for burial. These were the granny women, or witches. While these women were depended upon by their communities in these important situations, they were often seen as outsiders because of their esoteric knowledge and by the fact that they did not follow the prescribed role of women at all for that time. In other words, they were often seen as peculiar. There are many modern-day granny witches, and they might not even be a granny or a witch. Probably neither. But there's someone who, when you think of them, conjures up a vivid memory, and who cast a spell, if you will, on the person you are today. These are the folks we're to meet in our Fire Circle interviews. And today I am super excited to have my friend Saoirse McGurrin from Los Angeles, California, to tell us a little bit about herself first, and then jump right into whoever that granny, doesn't have to be old, woman, maybe not, in her life is. So Saoirse, I'm going right to you.
Hi, Alice. I'm so happy to be here chatting with you. And, Granny Witch is like my exact focus and interest, my favorite demographic. So, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to chat Granny Witches.
Oh, good. So tell us, I want to know, what are you doing out in Los Angeles, and a little bit about your background, because that's very interesting as well.
Yes, I'm from LA. My parents are Irish, so I grew up going back and forth a lot. But we're all here now. My sister's actually in Dublin. She's in grad school at the moment, so she's over there. Um,
Right?
Trinity,
Uh,
yes, she's doing screenwriting. She's
oh,
having an amazing time. I miss her so much every day, but we FaceTime too much. So,
good,
the connection is still strong.
good.
But yeah, out here in LA, I'm a writer. Um, as of course, I'm good friends with Chris and Austin. Um, but yeah, I was working as a writer's assistant for a bit. Now I'm working in costumes at two different high schools. I'm teaching costume and prop workshops. And the main thing I'm doing right now is the Fairy Place, which is my fairy house kit business. Some of the mushroom tapes up here, all the little packages.
Yes, we don't have a house, do we,
I
behind you
know.
anywhere?
You can see all of my different models up here, but all of my full houses are in my car because I'm doing all these farmers markets. I know, I'm like they're all
Yeah,
packed in, but
that's even more cool to see, though, I think. Yeah, the prototypes.
you don't even want to see my closet. It's embarrassing. But yeah, I'm working on my fairy place business. I'm doing a few farmers markets and Christmas fairs. But it's basically a kit that comes with all of the wooden pieces and accessories. Ellis has been very kind and and has one. Um, but yeah, especially with the holidays coming up now, it's all fairies on deck.
Yes, and we're gonna put all that, I don't know what show notes are, but that's what I'm gonna call them, and, put all that information out there. And let me just also add, because Saoirse won't say it, they're these exquisitely made fairy houses that are yay big, and they are easy to put together, and she has everything there to decorate it. Couldn't make it any more simple for little people, big people like me. And then you can use your own creativity to do whatever with it once it's constructed. But I also want you to talk, before we get into your granny woman, just for a second. Part of your fairy place are you also have some little stories going along with it because you are a great writer. So tell us where we can find, as that's on the website and your
Yes.
Instagram.
I have an Instagram. It's at the fairy place, at the fairy place. And my blog is at thefairyplace.com. Every Friday I do a fairy tale Friday, and I release a little story about, it's called Podge, Midge, and sometimes Smidge. It's about a toad and two fairy sisters who have started a small business of fairy godmothering. So it's kind of an adventure of the week. So every week there's a new person or animal or witch or fairy who needs a fairy godmother, a granny witch, so to speak,
Right.
to swoop in and help them. So I started that, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So every Friday I have a drop on my website with an update of what's going on with them.
Ah, I think that's brilliant. How fun. Okay, now I want to know who you chose in all the world of women in your life as the granny woman for you.
Yes, I chose my mom, who is not a granny yet.
That's okay.
She's not a granny yet. Um, but she is the person closest to me who has all of the qualities that you had described, of just being wise and nurturing and a lot to offer. So that's who I chose. Her name is Dolores.
Her name is Dolores, and she grew up in Ireland.
Yes, she's from Kilkenny. She did a lot of moving around, or a lot of traveling, and then ended up in LA. Um, but she's a hairdresser, a bar owner, a real estate agent. I mean, any job you can think of, my mom has worked it. She told me the craziest one the other day. She was like, we were driving around near the airport, and she was like, "Oh, I had this job installing phone cars like in the 80s, like phones in cars."
Oh my God.
Like wiring phones into cars. She was like, they hired me, like it was all of these like dudes, but she was so tiny and had like little tiny fingers. She was the only one that could get like the wires through. I was like, what have you not done? Like she's done everything. Um, but yeah, she's got a lot of stories.
Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. And when you think of specifics when it comes to your mom and what are the things she's passed on to you, the way you see your mom and you,
Yeah.
how does that translate?
What I've learned from her that I see in myself.
Yes.
Um, Something that's a blessing and a curse that I've inherited from her is she goes all in. She commits hard. And um in some ways it's amazing because you actually wake up and you do something. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you pursue something so wholeheartedly. The curse is it really sets up high expectations of yourself, but I think that even with the fairy place, she was so supportive and like so, you know, um, she just really felt we had to go all or nothing.
Huh.
Um, and in some ways that's been really scary because, you commit so much to this vision and making it happen, and it requires so much work. But on the other hand, you would never do it if you didn't do it. And you
That's
wouldn't learn anything if you didn't try. So
right.
I've really embraced that from her. She really, the funny part is like, we're gonna wake up every day and get into the ocean. And like she'll actually do that for a month. And like that's crazy. But she'll do it, because she said it. Um, But that's something that I really admire about her, is like reaching for the stars and actually committing. Whether or not you do it for the full run that you intended, you at least try to do it.
Exactly. That's huge. That
Yeah.
is huge. I mean, how many people can genuinely say that? The door opens, you walk through it, whether it works or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, she does not let opportunity pass by her. Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of?
That she has passed on to me.
Yes, yes.
Um, she really appreciates art, and
Mm,
she really feels that indulging in art or any sort of beautiful thing is never wasted. We always had piano lessons, like even in the hardest parts of like the recession or whatever was happening with our parents' bar. It's like, I don't know how she did it, but we always had piano lessons, or like always ended up going to the theater at Christmas, like those sort of like beautiful traditional things she never wavered on. And I really I appreciate that too. Like anytime I'm kind of like, oh, should I do this? Should I go see this thing? Or should I get this beautiful red scarf? Like, like those
yeah.
sort of frivolous, or you could think as frivolous things. She feels strongly that if it's a thing of beauty, you'll never regret it.
Oh my gosh. And that is a rare gift. Especially in our overly productive, don't waste your time knitting a scarf, anything
Right.
art related. What is that? What end is it serving? To have that just be cherished and elevated is such a wonderful thing to pass on to somebody.
Oh my God, that was what this was about. My little thing.
Well, we've been waiting for this.
I
Okay.
know we've been waiting for this moment. I've
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I've been working on these costumes for these different plays that are happening. And my mom wanted to come with me when I was costume shopping for the shows. And she found this and she was just like, I'm getting this for you. She's like, this is the most fabulous thing. I don't know when I'm going to wear it, but she was like, we have to.
Yes, yes, that is a perfect illustration. Yes.
And she's right. Look how beautiful it is.
It is gorgeous. Look at that detail. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. And
I know.
next time we speak, we hope you're wearing, I
I'll
hope.
be in the outfit.
Yes, yes. Well, I have to add one more part of this is um I know that along with the appreciation of art and the uh, and allowing it to be something that is valued in your life, there was a lot of creative juices allowed to run kind of amok in your house. It seems like just from the stories I've heard. And can you talk a little bit about? I don't think your Christmas celebrations or may look like some of the other families.
Yes, Chris and Austin have come to a few Christmases. I'm trying to think of some of the highlighted ones. We had like a disco one that I think they came to.
Just talk about what does that mean? Who does
Yeah,
it? I
I
mean, that's
don't.
the most fun thing ever.
And usually Thanksgiving we do with these our family friends, and I've missed them because I usually go to Alabama with Evan's family, but they have like a themed dress up um party every year for Thanksgiving. Like sometimes it's 20s or 70s, or there was like a Greek god year. I don't know. This obsession with dressing up, I don't know where it came from,
And
but
there's singing and merriment and
I know. I did we used to run a theater camp out of our house. Um it started because my dad had gotten these swings on our tree outside. And Kiva and I were like obsessed with the fact that it looked like we could swing so high. It was like those ones that are kind of like the flat plate at the bottom. So you can like, it's not like a classic swing. You can go all
right.
around. And we were like, we look like Peter Pan. Like it actually looks like we're flying. So we decided to put on a show. We put on Peter Pan with like all of Kiva's friends. She's 4.5 years younger than me. So it was me and my friend, and she would come over and help. And then Kiva and all of her friends. So I directed the show and they performed in it. And the first summer it was like just a fun thing. And then we ended up doing it for 4 years. We would do it during the summer, and then we would also do it during the school year after school on Mondays. And at the height of it, we had like 22 girls. So
Oh
it
my
it
gosh.
was nuts. So there was always costumes and singing, and it was nuts. So
That's
that was, yeah, always encouraged. Like I don't know how my parents, I mean, we literally just ran around. I mean, my mom would come home with like those tubs of lemonade from Costco, like giant brownies, and just like let everyone go loose. But yeah, it was a madhouse.
wow.
My parents come from huge families, so I think that they both kind of thrive in chaos. So
Yes.
maybe it felt familiar to have 22 elementary schoolers screaming.
And just allowing you to play and not ever dismissing it even to now by
Yeah,
virtue of your mom going, look at this hat, look at this thing, you've got to get it, that it's okay. And what a better um, impetus or motivation for a creator like yourself than allowing yourself to play or being allowed to play.
I feel so grateful. Like, I don't think I really understood that parents were a barrier to people pursuing arts, until so much later. Like, not even that I took it for granted. I just, to have that support felt so integral in my childhood that I couldn't imagine not having it. And now that I realize that's not the norm, I'm so grateful.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I think at Christmas, most parents are like trying to get you in a really uncomfortable outfit for the family picture and, go berserk if that's not happening while your family's putting on costumes and playing and no one's stressing out. I mean, I know it's not perfect, but that's
Right.
a pretty great place to,
Perfection
find
is definitely not what we're striving for here.
that.
Whatever the opposite of that is, maybe, but
Yeah.
um yeah, I think both, my mom came here, she didn't come to America for us not to like pursue our wildest dreams. She used to say that. She's like, I didn't come here so that you guys had to follow rules. Like, I came here to
Oh, that's
pursue,
good.
yeah, to for you to actually do what you want to do and be free.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
that's gorgeous. I kind of want to end on that, but I do just a quick question on when you see yourself 30 years down the road, how do you imagine? Now, very much part of the granny woman tradition is passing on the wisdom, as is the same for folklore traditions across the world, in these wise women and men sometimes, but
Sometimes, not sure, but sometimes
yeah,
maybe.
maybe one. But
Yeah.
uh, when you look at yourself in the future, how might you see your passing on of whether it's wisdom, how to make a costume, a fairy place? How do you see that translating?
Yeah, I think something that I'm really grateful for is I felt like I was always taken really seriously as a kid, or my ideas were really valued. I wasn't just, we were playing, but like when I was like, I want to put on a show, my mom allowed me to put on a show. So I think something that I hope that I would carry on to is really taking people and little people seriously and allowing them to sort of follow their impulses, without imposing, the world is stressful enough without imposing these sort of outside influences to make your decisions, even the smaller ones of what you want to do today during summer, like if you really listen to people and kids, and you allow them to follow their impulses, it is important and it pays off.
Yes, yes. Oh, I have really very little doubt that that's what you will be like and continue that circle. So thank you so much, Saoirse. We are going to definitely promote and visit the fairy place and look
Thank
forward to seeing what exciting things come out of that in the future.
thank you so much. Thank you.